pretty please, can I be Ant-Woman? No, young lady, a Avenger's life is too dangerous for you. Oh, come on, Dad, this isn't the Little Mermaid. Antman and the Wasp Quantumania. Woo! God, I can't get enough of that shrinking ability, directed once again by Pearson Reed, and is the third installment of the Ant-Man trilogy and the 31st MCU movie overall, and the first MCU movie of Phase 5 and of 2023. So Quantumania tells the story taking place after the events of not only Ant-Man and the Wasp but Endgame, where Scott's played once again by Paul Rudd, has now become a celebrity after, thanks to him, they were able to beat Thanos in Endgame. His now grown daughter Cassie, she's, sends a signal to the quantum realm, which gets her and Scott and Hope and Janice and Hank all sucked into the quantum realm, where Janet was stuck for 30 years, and her friend enemy Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, has conquered the quantum realm and plots to escape to stop something big coming, so he claims. So Scott, Cassie, Hope, Janice, and Hank not only need to get home, but also free the quantum realm from Kang's reign. Now, I was super antsy to see this movie, no pun intended, as the Ant-Man movies are rather underrated in the MCU. First Ant-Man, I've gotta say, still remains the biggest surprise from the MCU. I did not expect that movie to be the best Marvel movie of 2015. Sorry, Age of Ultron. With Ant-Man and the Wasp being the superior sequel and one of the most underrated MCU movies, period, and still remains my favourite Ant-Man movie, and I will fight anybody who says it's not the best. And when I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, this looks like it's shaping up to be the best of the Ant-Man trilogy. How could it possibly fall short of expectation? But of course, a lot of people were not a fan of Phase 4, and it doesn't look like they are giving Phase 5 much praise either. I was not expecting the underwhelming reception this movie received from critics. In fact, it's the second MCU movie to get a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes after Eternals, and this has become literally the Marmite of the Ant-Man trilogy. People are either loving it or hating it, and but the vast majority are calling it the weakest Ant-Man movie, hands down. So where do I stand in all this? I mean, as for my thoughts on Quantumania, it is not as underwhelming as the critics are saying. Like, I do think the critics are being a tad harsh on this movie, but that doesn't mean I think it's the best Ant-Man movie, because it ain't, and that would still be Ant-Man and the Wasp. But this would still be my second favourite of the Ant-Man trilogy. Yes, sorry to fans of the first Ant-Man, but on reflection, the first Ant-Man is probably my least favourite, just marginally. And this is still a decent beginning to a Phase 5, which I'm sure will get progressively better. But I do think there are some positives here that the critics have failed to see, like for one thing, Cassie, played now by Catherine Newton, third actress to play Cassie, the little girl in the first two Ant-Mans, and the Cassie we briefly saw in Endgame. But Catherine Newton, she is my favourite Cassie of the three actresses, and damn, she's grown into a cutie. When did Cassie become more gorgeous than Hope? And she does time in jail just like her father did in the first film. So she wants to prove herself that she needs no protection and can be an Avenger like her dad. She totally becomes Ant-Woman in this movie, and the comedy is still as freaking hilarious as it was in the first two. Like, where Scott is mistaken for Spider-Man by the general public when he's living the life of celebrity, and has published a book where his motto is in the book, "There's always room to grow." There is one alien in the quantum realm that helps Scott and Cassie translate quantum realm language by making them drink goo. And he's always like, "Oh, I have holes. How many holes do you have?" I honestly get more of a laugh out of the Ant-Man movies than I do out of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Sue me, but that's just my taste. And Kang, the main antagonist, I mean, is it even a question? He is the best Ant-Man villain. And the proper Kang that we get here, I mean, he is vastly more terrifying than that Joker Kang that we got in the finale of Loki. But Jonathan Major truly stepped up his game here and brought the imposing and unstoppable factor to the table whenever he was on screen. So I do think Phase 5 should focus less on getting you to watch the Disney Plus shows and subscribe to Disney Plus, just so you don't miss any information going into one of the movies. You know, not everything has to tie in. So stay for the post-credit scene, because that is vital for the future of Kang in Phase 5. That's all I'll say. And Kang is set up to be the Thanos of Phase 5, but Thanos is still the better villain of the two, and well, this movie is such a departure from the first two Ant-Mans. We only saw glimpses of the quantum realm in the first two, and this time we get to spend nearly the entire movie in it. It was inevitable that in the third movie we would get to explore the quantum realm in its entirety, and I mean, the world building I will get to in my cons with the movie, but as for visuals, they at least look pretty. It would not be possible to physically bring the quantum realm to life without the CGI. So yeah, I mean, don't expect Avatar: The Way of Water level visuals, but prepare for eye candy. But as well as the quantum realm, they still keep the shrinking and gigantic size effects from the first two films, like when Scott, Cassie, and Hope and Janice and Hank are about to have a pizza for their dinner. They make a minuscule pizza and then enlarge it big time, and the pacing does well. And the pacing is pretty accelerating. It flies as fast as a ant or a wasp can fly. So 2 hours was the reasonable runtime. Though now here's where we get to the negative side of Quantumania, because this movie, like I said, I still have mixed thoughts on, despite my enjoyment. Scott, the protagonist, has such a overly done and formulaic character arc here. Like, he's being overprotective of Cassie. He doesn't want her to have the life of a superhero, you know, the life that he has. Dude, you want to deprive and rob your daughter of the thrilling life that you haven't? And how many freaking times do we need to see this in a movie? Like, how many overprotective fathers have we seen? I mean, There are more overprotective fathers than I've has hot dinners. Seriously, this isn't the Little Mermaid. This is Ant-Man, and uh, plus Evangeline Lilly's Hope. If you were loved that they expanded her and made her a major part of Ant-Man and the Wasp, well, prepare her to be let down here, because Wasp doesn't do shit in this movie. Yeah, and then how could they sideline Hope? She's one of the major Ant-Man characters. Yes, I get they wanted to give more father and daughter bonding scenes with Cassie and Scott, but you don't need to sideline Hope to do that. Like, Hope and her parents should have stuck with Scott and Cassie throughout the entire film. I disagree with the decision to part them. Heck, even Janet got more to do in this movie than Hope. And while Janet's backstory with Kang, what did get intriguing, I think Janet should have been involved in the final showdown with Scott and Kang, and ultimately Janet being the one to take out Kang would have been so much more satisfying, because Kang is truly her personal foe. And also the Bill Murray character, you know, the friend of Janet's in the Quantum Realm, who she thinks will help them but ends up betraying them. He is unnecessary beyond belief, gets one scene and then he's killed off. It was just an excuse to have a Bill Murray celebrity cameo. And the world building of the Quantum Realm is not all that original, even though there are some badass looking characters like a kick-ass warrior lady who befriends Cassie, and a guy with a broccoli for a hairs, and a mind reader. It is far too reminiscent of Star Wars. Just because Disney have both Marvel and Star Wars, that's goes to show they were lazy and just went to Star Wars for inspiration when designing the Quantum Realm. Like the city in the Quantum Realm, the similarities to Coruscant are just uncanny, and the bar is literally the MCU version of the Mos Eisley cantina on Tatooine. And don't even get me started on fucking Murdoch, like who in a twist turns out to be Darren Cross, or Yellow Jacket, who is by far the weakest Ant-Man antagonist. Why they felt the need to bring him back in this movie is beyond me. Nobody wanted to see him return. Like, they could have brought back Ghost instead. She's a, well, far stronger character and antagonist as far as we're all concerned. Like, Murdoch's design, how he looks like freaking Humpty Dumpty with his stubby little arms and legs and his Goliath-sized head. Like, I could not take his ridiculous design seriously at all. I try to give him a redemption arc, like when Cassie tells him it's never too late to stop being a dick, and I didn't feel anything when he gave his life. I'm sorry. He was the weakest part of the first Ant-Man, and they just made him even worse here. Come on, Peace and Reese. And the action sequences, well, are a mixed bag. They're just okay at best. The bar fight with Hope and her family, I mean, that's the most forgettable one. Then the fight with Cassie and Scott. The people of the Quantum Realm are being captured by Kang's soldiers. I mean that one is enjoyable, because we do get to see Cassie finally put on her badass Ant-Man suit. And then we get an imaginative sequence where we see like, well, a million other Scotts, and they form a swarm, like a swarm of ants. And the final battle is the biggest scale one of the Ant-Man trilogy. He went from a fight on the Thomas the Tank Engine in the first movie to a car chase in the second movie, and now a galactic war in Quantumania, but it honestly feels too larger to be a battle in Ant-Man movie, and it's not the best climax of the trilogy because it lacks the personal stakes of the climaxes of the first two films. First movie had Scott protecting Cassie from Yellow Jackets, and the second movie was about getting Janet back to Earth. And this final battle was a spectacle over character moments. Like if Janet was the one that was kicking Kang's ass, it would have been more personal and even better. Scott's final fight with Kang does get surprisingly brutal when Kang is bashing Scott and gives him a nosebleed. The writing in the third act could have been fixed in areas, and where were Scott's ex-wife and Cassie's mum and her partner, and where were Scott's friends from the first two films? They're not in Quantumania, and I'm not gonna lie, they were missed. So they were part of what made the first two movies so charming. Overall, Quantumania is neither the best nor worst Ant-Man movie. It's just somewhere in the middle.
I give Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania 3 stars out of 5. Good movie.
So yeah, not a bad beginning to a Phase 5, but my advice to Kevin Feige from here on, less Disney Plus shows and more big screen movies for Phase 5. That's what we want. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. What are your thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? Is it your favourite, second favourite, or least favourite of the Ant-Man trilogy? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.